All right. So our next review is going to be for the movie Christie. I saw it. Dust did not get a chance to see
Mm.
it, like many other people, because this is, if you listen to some of the movie news, box office reports, this is not doing so well in the box office there in the history of film, actually. So it broke some history in a bad way, but
Mhm.
this is starring Sydney Sweeney here. It's a biopic about the real life boxer Christy Martin there, when she rose to prominence there in the 90s to the 2000s to kind of the early 2010s there. Um, and this woman was a trailblazer in female boxing. I mean, she had this great streak there. She was just knocking people out. I mean, as you see here, like left and right. It's like you ever see that movie Goon with Sean William Scott?
Yeah.
Uh, it's like you can't skate for shit, but you got the hammer of God. Like you got the
Yeah.
fist of God. Like you know how to knock people out. And that's kind of like her deal there. Is that the movie kind of portrays as she's maybe not the most technically skilled person, but she knows how to really hit and she hits hard. And a lot of it kind of details that and especially details her life with an unrecognizable Ben Foster in this,
Oh,
who
yeah.
plays Jim Martin,
That's Ben
who's
Foster?
yeah, Ben Foster, yeah,
Oh,
who's
wow.
under a lot of kind of prosthetics and everything, and makeup and everything like
Yeah,
that.
he looks like Biff from Back to the Future.
Oh yeah, he kind of does, he kind of does look like Biff, yeah. Back to the Future there, and yeah, he's Jim Martin, who's her husband slash trainer, and you see kind of this tumultuous relationship that the two of them had, especially with Christy Martin, who was a lesbian,
Mhm.
and she was kind of keeping that a secret, during this time, especially where she grew up. She grew up in West Virginia, which I think it probably would have been more appropriate if she was dating her brother rather than a woman, probably in West Virginia, but yeah, you see that, that's kind of a big contention point, like her family, it's like an embarrassing thing for the rumor to be out there that she's with women. So she marries this guy and kind of tries to keep that suppressed. And it's really, yes, it's a very formulaic sports biopic in terms of the rise, a little bit of the fall that you see with this person and their life. But what kind of really comes in here that makes it a little bit, I think, stand above is the performances from Sydney Sweeney, is the performance from Ben Foster, and kind of how much of just evil that this guy was, Jim
Mm.
Martin, because it's almost like this guy, it's like he read Abusers for Dummies, like where everything he does is like classic abuser techniques. Like he isolates her from her family and friends. He
Mm.
monitors all her conversations, who she talks to, where she goes. He even has cameras in the house watching her.
Damn.
He even gets her addicted to drugs so he can, control her that way. There's even something in the movie where they only show this briefly, but maybe he also, got her involved in prostitution, sex work. He was pimping her out, different things like that. And yeah, and if you know the real story of kind of what the conclusion of that was, I won't say what is there, but very dark kind of ending there to that, and where it kind of ends up
Mm.
towards the end of it was very very kind of shocking there. I didn't know the story of her. I'd never heard of her before this movie, so this was interesting to kind of figure that out, and then looking up more about it was also kind of interesting to see that as well. But yeah, and talk about a little bit of the look of Ben Foster in this, Jim Martin, but also the look of Sydney Sweeney. I mean, she put on, I think it was like they said, about 10-20 pounds of muscle for this role there, and so she physically
Good on
looks
her.
kind of different. Looks kind of different there. So, bravo to her for that. And I think she's really putting herself out there in terms of that. And I think it kind of works there. So, yes, it's like I said, kind of formulaic in that sense, but I think the performance kind of elevate the material, and the story itself is kind of a bleak story as well. With kind of all the things that this person kind of went through. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked it. And I think it's a good story if people want to kind of check it out there. I'd give it a lowish tune in, regular tune in for me. Did you already know about Christy Martin already?
I only knew vaguely about Christy, mostly from the boxing, and how things almost ended, so to speak,
Okay.
without
Yeah.
spoiling it. So that's about all I knew too much about it.
Okay.
Oh, and that and like the situation that I think originally Ruby Rose was initially going to play a character in this movie, and then she didn't, and then she did a whole tirade recently on Twitter. Oh, did a brief one and how the script was different from how when she originally read it, and it was more on the fact that she was about Christy being a lesbian and how that original script was more focused on that and this and that, and then it felt like it was taken. Like, she's got a lot. Ruby's got a lot. Like they ruined the biopic. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, she
from
called
what,
her a
yeah,
cretin.
yeah, no, Ruby was quite mad about it. But from what you're telling me, it seems like they focused on Christy as a person in her life,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, for the most part they did. I mean, the
And the
boxing
fact that,
stuff they
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, the boxing stuff they did, the boxing scenes aren't the most interesting part of the movie. I mean, they're not
Hmm.
really all done all that well. I mean, it's no like Creed or anything like that.
Sure.
And the fights usually relatively end pretty quick. Like you just see her throw a couple punches and then boom, she knocks the person out and then that's it.
I
So
mean,
it's not the most interesting
most
thing.
boxing actually ends up being that way.
Really? Okay, I don't watch a whole lot of
Okay, so
boxing.
boxing can go a couple of rounds, don't get me wrong, but that's why, like the Manny Pacquiao fight, and they were waiting for that Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor, and that went like 3-ish rounds, 3, 4-ish rounds. Rounds
Mm,
don't go for quite a bit, and so most, boxing matches either end really quickly or drag.
mm,
So that's
okay.
kinda how it goes. It's either over in a flash or it goes on and on and on.
Yeah. And the only fight that goes kinda a little bit long for her is the, one of the fights she has with Katie O'Brien, who shows up in this, who comes back later in the movie. But
Mhm.
interesting that Ruby Rose was supposed to be Christy in it, 'cause
She
Christy, I
wasn't
mean,
supposed to be Christy, she was gonna be Cherry.
oh, she's gonna be Cherry. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Because I was gonna say, yeah, she's maybe a little too old to be Christy,
Yeah,
especially
no,
when
she
the
was
movie's.
gonna be Cherry and that too, so that she wasn't gonna be the main girl, but she's like the original script was this, and that, and I honestly, I'm actually glad that this movie focuses more on just Christy as a person who is a boxer and also happens to be a lesbian, and not just that's the whole thing, and also,
Mm,
but more focuses on someone who's in an abusive relationship.
yeah. And I could see a little bit of, I guess a little bit of maybe you would want to maybe have that to explore a little bit more of that. I could maybe see
Eh,
that. But
yeah.
I still think it was, decent at showing her life there and also just showing who this person was there.
Mm.
And I think there's like a 30 for 30 of her, I think, out there, I believe.
Cool.
And I'd check that out. I'd check
Yeah.
that out there of seeing that.
Did you
Uh,
like it more than Smashing Machine?
Uh, do I like it more? This has kind of some. I mean, it's funny because we talked about Smash Machine and we
Mhm.
said that it's trying so hard not to be formulaic
Yeah.
that it kind of messes up. I mean, I think maybe I did. I think I did like this more than Smash Machine. I think.
Ooh.
I think maybe the performance from The Rock is better than maybe some performances in this. But Ben
Mhm.
Foster's really good. I think he's very creepy in this and very disturbing in this. And if you know Ben Foster from other movies he's been in, like Alpha Dog, I remember him in that movie, or
Oh my god,
um,
Alpha Dog, that takes me back.
like he plays a psycho in that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think maybe that the first thing I ever saw him in. Yeah, like he's really terrifying in that. And then yeah, The Rock, I mean, I think he's maybe slightly better, but yeah, I think maybe I like Christie better than the Smash Machine, I think. I mean,
Okay.
I think it has a little
So what's your rating?
Christie, I give it a tune in for that.
Okay.
I just give it a plain kind of tune in. I forgot what did we give Smash Machine? We gave that a
Oh my
tune in.
god. I think we both gave it Stream It's.
Stream it? Okay. I'll
I
take
think
your
we
word
gave it a
for it.
Stream It. Either that or a low tune in from you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, low tune in. Yeah, I think that's what I gave it.